After Superman appears at Wayne Manor to confront Alfred about his comments, he doesn't back down and tells him that if he is trying to intimidate him, it is not going to work. Those words infuriate Clark, who asks for Batman's location when Alfred decides to leave him talking alone. Hours later, at the regime's temporary super prison in San Francisco, Sinestro is overhearing a conversation between Superman and an unknown person. Here, the individual tells Clark that he is not leaving him a choice, which he confirms. He then asks where he should find him after he gets what he needs, to which he responds sharply that he won't. He will find him. Meanwhile, at the Pacific Lead Mines in northwest Alaska, Alfred questions why Bruce remains so determined to keep doing this, but the answer is simple. Alfred has never revealed his actual birth date, and Bruce has turned discovering it into a personal challenge. He finds it amusing that the world's greatest detective still hasn't been able to uncover something as basic as his birthday. Bruce asks if today is finally the day, only for Alfred to tell him no once again. Still, he refuses to give up, determined to eventually discover exactly how old Alfred really is. He jokingly assures him that he probably will, hopefully sometime before he turns 365. The conversation then becomes more personal, as he asks whether anyone else has contacted him. Pennyworth tells him that Barbara and Kate have already called. Sadly, when he asks about Damien, Alfred admits that he hasn't heard from him yet, but remains confident that he eventually will. Bruce clearly expects the same and wishes him a happy birthday. Seconds later, he suddenly stays silent when Alfred asks him what is bothering him. Initially, Bruce tries to dismiss it, though Alfred knows him far too well to believe that. He admits that as much as he hates what Superman has become, part of him cannot completely ignore the fact that the world is arguably safer than it was 5 years earlier because of the regime. Pennyworth's eyes soften as he reminds him of the other side of that coin. He is a murderer. Bruce knows that, but his frustration is beginning to show, and he says, "I know, but we've been fighting the regime for years, 1 step forward and 2 steps back. I'm not even at square one. I recruit the rogues, and 2 more insurgents are killed." He knows how isolated the insurgency has become, with only Kate, Barbara, and himself still standing. However, Alfred refuses to let him give in, insisting that Bruce will find a way because the world still needs him. That reminder seems to steady him, recognizing that everyone needs someone to keep them grounded when things get difficult. He agrees, and before ending the call, Bruce once again wishes him a happy birthday. Later that night, Alfred returns to his room and quietly looks over a letter. But the moment is interrupted when his wrist device suddenly alerts him that an intruder has entered the property. Immediately on guard, he leaves the room and rushes downstairs. As he moves through the manor, he orders the security system to scan the Batcave and find out exactly who has broken in. Down in the Batcave, Alfred reaches the computer as the security system completes its scan and identifies the intruder. In seconds, the monitor shows Victor Zyash, who appears through the shadows with a knife in hand, clearly impressed by the cave's defenses, and jokingly asks if the security system comes with its own Batman. Alfred calmly tells him that if he came looking for Batman, he is wasting his time because he no longer lives there, and immediately disarms the system. Seconds later, Zyash moves closer as he points out that he must know all types of information in that head of his, and somewhere in there, he might have the location to find him. Alfred refuses, calmly making it clear that even if he knew Batman's location, he would never reveal it. Those words bring excitement to the villain, who replies that this is exactly what he wanted to hear. He points at Pennyworth with his knife and reminds him that every mark represents someone, to which Alfred responds that he would rather not become one of them. Without wasting any more time, Alfred is the first to attack. When Zyash parries it, he admits that despite his age, he moves pretty well. He then gives him 2 choices: become the next mark on his body, or tell him where Batman is. However, before Alfred can even respond, the first cut lands on his left arm. He counterattacks with a hit to the back of his knee, making him tumble to the floor. But quickly, another cut lands on his right leg. He tries to defend himself, but it seems the cuts are turning deadly as he begins to slow down. Zyash then cuts him right across the lower stomach, still asking for Batman's location. "All you have to do is call him on your supercomputer," he says, while Alfred rejects his offer. In a quick move, Zyash takes the baton out of his hand. When Pennyworth lands a rapid punch directly into his nose, the villain can only smile as he realizes that the old butler would rather die than say a word to him. With little to no breath left, Alfred murmurs his words as he asks who sent him. But sadly, the answer comes with a final cut as Zyash replies, "The devil himself." A little later, Damien arrives at the Batcave carrying a birthday present for Alfred, jokingly singing as he makes his way inside and admitting he still doesn't even know whether this is actually his birthday. But as he walks deeper into the cave, cave, he notices blood on the floor, and his playful mood disappears instantly. Right in front of him is the deceased body of the man he has come to love the most. Back with the regime, Damian provides footage recovered from the Batcomputer showing Alfred's body inside the cave. Cyborg explains that Victor Zass's motive was clear. He wanted Batman's location and killed him when he refused to give it up. The group immediately realizes there is another problem. He had been personally delivered by Hal Jordan to the regime's super prison only a week earlier, meaning someone must have helped him escape. Superman shows little sympathy, arguing that Alfred knowingly put himself in danger by helping Batman, who is the most wanted man on the planet. Immediately, Cyborg raises another concern, mentioning that Sinestro has been overseeing the regime's prison, and they cannot completely rule him out as a suspect. To avoid any suspicion, Clark tells everyone present that he will handle Sinestro before adding, "One last thing. If this tragedy draws Bruce out of hiding, you are ordered to take him down. Don't allow feelings to get in the way of doing your jobs." Minutes later, through one of the corridors, Flash asks Cyborg what they are really doing anymore. Victor answers that they are making the world a safer place, although even he admits that lately it feels more like something he keeps telling himself than something he truly believes. Their attention turns to Damian, who is nearby repeatedly punching the floor in grief and anger over Alfred's death. When Cyborg tries to comfort him, he admits that there are no words for what happened, but assures him that whatever he needs, they are there for him. However, as he turns his gaze toward them, he lets them know that he only wants one thing: Victor Zass. Meanwhile, back in Gotham, Batwoman meets with Catwoman and Batgirl on a rooftop as heavy rain falls over the city. They confirm that Harley will not be joining them before turning their attention to Bruce. He has gone completely off the grid, and they can only assume he is already hunting Victor. That immediately worries them. They know him better than almost anyone, but after everything Zass did to Alfred, they begin questioning whether even Batman might finally cross the line and kill him. Batwoman wants to believe he won't, but after seeing Alfred's murder, she can no longer be certain. With no time to waste, the group launches into the storm, determined to find Bruce before he reaches him. Now, Victor finds himself paranoid as he moves through the city, trying to get as far away from Gotham as possible. However, it only takes a few minutes after he robs a car for the Batmobile to crash into him at full force. Immediately, he gets out as he sees the silhouette of the Dark Knight appear. Barely able to walk, he scuttles through the wreckage and finally begins to run. Right behind him, Batman follows and throws two batarangs at him that embed themselves in his legs, making him fall to the ground. He then begins to crawl, trying to escape as a trail of blood is left behind. Suddenly, Batman lunges at him with rage and kicks him in the back. As he forces him to turn, he begins punching him, one strike after another without any restraint, asking the same question. Finally, Victor murmurs for him to stop. Battered and barely able to speak, he realizes what Batman really wants to know, which Bruce confirms firmly. With a twisted smile, he tells Bruce that he should never have revealed how badly he wanted the answer. But before he can say another word, Batman lands another punch. Still pinned beneath him, Zass points to one of the scars on his body, revealing that a particular mark now represents Alfred. Bruce's eyes harden as he hears those words, but before Victor can say Pennyworth's name, Damian shouts from the side that he doesn't get to say it. Batman immediately turns toward his son, only for Damian to make his intentions clear.